Hello and welcome back to another Underworld video. This video is going to be the first of a character breakdown series I'm going to do for individual characters, and the first character I wanted to cover was Eve. I wanted to cover Eve first because I did a video on all of the species in the Underworld series, but I didn't really cover Eve in that video at all, so I've made this video to kind of cover everything. Eve, her full name possibly Eve Corvin, is the firstborn hybrid and is the daughter of Celine and Michael Corvin. She is also a modern-day descendant of the Corvinus clan. She is a hybrid of both immortal species vampire and lichen. This makes her potentially the most potent product of the Corvinus strain to date, as well as the most powerful immortal. Her blood is sought out for its potential of giving someone else unimaginable power, making her a big target for many enemies. Eve was born and raised in captivity, her parents having been captured by the infected persons unit before they could ever learn of Celine's pregnancy for themselves. Antigen, the biotech corporation that took custody of Celine and Michael, raised Eve as subject to, in captivity for the first 11 to 12 years of her life. Her caretakers told her that her parents had died when she was born, preventing her from learning anything about her origins or nature. However, she mentions that because of her psychic connection to Celine, she felt certain her caretakers were lying about her being an orphan. Only one doctor, her personal caretaker, ever treated her as anything more than a lab specimen, with others regarding her as merely an experiment. In the movie Underworld Awakening, when informed that she is soon to be executed, Eve breaks out of captivity and frees her mother, whose existence she had only recently learned about. Although Celine is originally ignorant of Eve's existence, their psychic connection allows Celine to see what Eve sees, causing her to track down the young girl. Celine is stunned by Eve's physical appearance and hybrid form, as well as the raw strength she exhibits. When Eve is recaptured by the Antigen forces, Celine launches an attack on the company, during which Eve manages to free herself. She confronts Jacob Lane, the evolved lichen doctor who had sought to use Eve's DNA to create a more powerful and silver-resistant race of lichens. The two fight fiercely, culminating in Eve successfully defeating Lane when she literally rips his throat out. But although Eve has a vision of Michael escaping the facility, her father vanishes before she and Celine can catch up with him on the roof. Before the start of Blood Wars, Eve went into hiding after making Celine promise not to go looking for her. She left Celine with only a lock of her hair to remember her by. The Lycan leader Marius seeks Celine in order to discover Eve's location to take her blood and enhance his own powers, but learns that even Celine does not know her own daughter's whereabouts, realizing once and for all that he is unable to find her. After Marius' death, Celine becomes one of the 3 new vampire elders and remains at the Nordic Cavern where, eventually, Eve arrives looking for her mother, possibly being summoned by Celine. Eve is seen alive and well very briefly in the film, but plays no active role. Eve has long brown hair and blue eyes, and when in hybrid form her skin turns blue like her father's and her eyes turn black, while her irises have the bright blue shade of Celine. She also cannot speak when transformed like Michael, reduced to growls, hisses, and roars similar to a lichen. Eve appears to resemble her mother the most in terms of her facial features, save for her eyes, which Celine claims are just like her father's. Her powers and abilities. The full limit of Eve's abilities are undetermined on account of both her pre-adolescence as well as her relatively short time in the Underworld lore. Genetically, she is the most potent of immortals, possessing powerful attributes from each species as well as ferocity and bloodlust. Similar to her father, another lichen vampire hybrid, Eve demonstrates a bestial blood rage when she reveals her true nature. This seems to be what triggers her powers, as she does not possess any hand-to-hand training or combat experience, relying on pure brute force to defeat her enemies. She possesses great superhuman endurance. Even at such a young age, Eve has demonstrated remarkable resilience for an immortal. She is seen to nonchalantly cut herself with no visible discomfort, as well as likely recovering from severe blunt force trauma as an overturned car is being hit by an evolved lichen. Even before she had consumed any blood in her entire life, she only showed moderate discomfort from a rather severe lichen bite, even ripping the lichen's head in half after it bit her. Eve also possesses extremely powerful healing factors, even by immortal standards. However, being deprived of blood for 12 years, since she was born and until she was brought to the Coven, has weakened this trait of her into a seemingly human level. Still, after consuming blood for the first time, the bite wound healed at a remarkable rate, healing completely within seconds. This especially impressive because a lichen bite would definitely kill most vampires. After she cut her arm several times, the cut healed near immediately. She was also able to withstand the anesthetic gas for a rather long period of time before finally passing out. Similar to Lycan's, Eve's strength seems to be triggered by intense emotions such as rage or fear. As a hybrid, her raw brutality is more than sufficient to compensate for her age and lack of fighting experience, even when confronted by transformed lesser Lycans or an evolved Lycan. Eve's most remarkable feats of strength include tearing a lower Lycan's head in half, even while wounded, holding a raging Lycan at bay with a wooden door, and finally tearing out the throat of an evolved Lycan. Selene believes that Eve is more powerful than any vampire Lycan alive, including Elders. As a Lycan hybrid, Eve possesses sharp nails in her hybrid form, capable of causing severe damage. Presumably like her father, she can also grow them without fully accessing her hybrid form, but this is yet to be demonstrated. Eve is shown sensing the approach of a Lycan attack in Underworld Awakening. She felt them before Selene. In theory, her senses could be superior to those of her mother, though Selene wasn't paying attention in this case, or her Lycan heritage allows her to detect other Lycans better. She is also shown disappearing from sight in a matter of seconds, eluding police officers, Lycan guards, Jacob Lane, and even her own mother. Eve was able to launch herself onto a Lycan's back with extreme force, and she displays twists and flips when fighting. She can also jump extremely high without difficulty, once jumping up a wall of a room about 20 feet tall, reaching near the ceiling with ease. Eve has demonstrated the ability to cling to walls, seemingly even without skin contact, as seen when she jumped up the walls of the room when she was imprisoned at the antigen headquarters while trying to resist the effect of the anesthetic gas. Like most other hybrids, as a hybrid from both immortal species Lycan and vampires, Eve is completely immune to both ultraviolet light and silver in any form. One ability that only Eve seems to have is she is able to perceive images and hear sounds from the perspective of either one of her parents. It is explained that when she is within proximity to either her mother or father, her brainwaves fall into sync with them and she sees what they see, and they in turn can also see what she sees. For years, however, this only occurred between Eve and her mother as they were kept within close proximity. Her father was kept too far away from her for this to occur. The ability of sensory synchronization is apparently a random phenomenon rather than a controlled event. And of course, being an immortal as a Lycan vampire hybrid, Eve is immune to aging and disease, and her life will last hundreds, if not thousands of years. So that's my character overview for Eve. There's not too much to go over because the amount of lore available for Eve is very limited because she's only really appeared fully in one film. But nonetheless, her character is very interesting. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you have another character you want me to cover, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.